This is a tutorial for anybody who's writing a novel and wants to put this in there, characters texting and stuff. This is going to be based off an iPhone layout, but I could try to do Google or Samsung or whatever if you want. This is just for Apple though. I went ahead and opened a new document and just kind of typed out a little thing just to kind of give you guys an example because I already did it on my actual novel. So I just like to space it out just by clicking enter a few times. Sometimes it won't take up this much room. It depends on how much messages and how big you actually want them to be. And it also depends on document size. Usually I go by 6x9, but this is just the letter formatting. I will be starting this by scratch since you guys will be, but usually I'll just kind of copy and paste. So first I'll just grab a text bubble. You'll find that in callouts. I just do like the round looking one. And then I'll just make one randomly. It doesn't matter what size because you will be customizing it. And then with this little like tail thing, I personally don't use it because I just can never like get it at the perfect angle. So I just put it out of the way so then I don't have to worry about it being shown. Sorry, my little sister decided to start crying, but this is we're just going to color fill it gray, and then the outline I just remove it because we don't really need an outline. And then with the text, I will just be doing like some random stuff from my novel, just little snippets. For example, I use Roboto as a font. It is not available in Word. I had to download it, so if you're not comfortable downloading fonts, then you can just use, I feel like this is a good font for it anyway. So I personally like to use Roboto though. And then I set it to 10, so it's pretty small. And then I'll just type in here. Oh wait, I do set the gray ones to black. And then I'll set it to that so that it's kind of more spread out. And then what I used to do before I switched to Samsung was kind of type it into my phone and then send it to myself to kind of see how it lays out. I'm pretty much memorized how it is laid out, but if you have an iPhone or whatever model you are using, you could type it, send it to yourself, and then that'll kind of show you how it'll send. And then you can kind of format it to whatever. That's only if you really want to be realistic with it, though. You don't have to do that. And then if you want to be super realistic with it, if you would like, you could also set a time and date or whatever it may be at the top. I just said I use the same font and then I size it to 7, so like a little bit smaller than the actual text. And then I'll just say whatever time and then just do 34. I just do a random thing. And I honestly can't remember if it does the AM thing. It's been a while since I've done this. And then I'll set it to the same gray-ish color, center it, and then I'll kind of make sure it's kind of as close as it can be to that. There we go. Oh, and also, I am going to be showing you guys how to do like a group text thing. Again, you don't have to do this, but I like to do it, so you kind of know. So I'll type their name at the top and then kind of get it as close as possible. And there you go. So there's one. I went ahead and made a new shape and then I will fill it with the blue. I just kind of go for this type of blue. Trying to decide which one looks better. I think that one. And then no outline. Basically the same thing but on the opposite side. Now with like how close each other they are, that's completely up to you. If you want them super jammed together, because usually with iPhone messages they are kind of cluttered together, but personally I like to space them out a little bit more if I'm doing group text because it just looks more appealing to read. It kind of can get like a little messy if you have it too close together. I've been experimenting with this for a little bit, but This one's my long text bubble. With the long ones, you can kind of format it to whenever, or you can do what I said by just sending it to yourself. Personally, I like this a little better. It looks neater, I guess, but you can make it either really big or really small. You can do whatever you want with it. I personally like to do it like that. I will warn you, with these text bubbles, if you have like certain formatting like margins and stuff, it will go outside of the paper. It can do that. It does not automatically get formatted like the words do. Words will stay within. These guys just like to go wherever, so sometimes you just kind of have to be careful with that, especially if you're like fixing formatting or whatever. You just kind of have to be careful that it doesn't go off the page anywhere. Okay, and there will be times where like you click enter and you don't quite like the spacing that's in there. Like it's a little too close or a little too far. So you can go to the previous line and then change the size of that to match, and sometimes that'll fix it. Other times you just kind of have to move it around until it lines up, but this should be similar to what yours would look like. Um, it depends on your page size, but usually they're like kind of cluttered together instead of like all spread out like this. It's really hard to read when they're all spread out, but when you have a smaller page size, it does look a little bit better. Or you can just make them bigger if you do prefer writing on letter size pages. So yeah, there it is. Enjoy this because it was really hard for me to get used to personally, but maybe you guys will be able to perfect it and stuff and have fun with it. But let me know if you guys want me to try to do Google Messages formatting or Samsung or whatever. Also, here's free video of cat and dog. Can't forget the dog.